We are just getting warmed up for Saturday spring training baseball here in Tampa. Decidedly cool at George M. Steinbrenner Field, so you got to get loose. But always a good day to be at the ballpark. New York Yankees baseball presented by Verizon Fios. We've got it coming for you. Yankees against the Tigers. Here from George M. Steinbrenner Field in Tampa. Great to have you with us, as always. Bob Lorenz along with John Flaherty. Game 9 on the spring training schedule for the Yankees. Yesterday, we got our first look at Hiroki Kuroda. Today, the first look at Ivan Nova, looking to solidify that 5th spot in the rotation.
Well, Ivan Nova's in a little bit of a competition for that 5th spot in the rotation with David Phelps, and David Phelps has gotten off to a fast start this spring. When you look at Nova, he has all the stuff to win a lot of big league ball games. He won 12 of those games last year, but he took a step backward. The ERA over 5. The Yankees hoping that he's going to rebound with this type of stuff. He's got a great slider, power curveball, and a good fastball.
Really a tale of 2 seasons last year for Ivan Nova, as again they look for him to be a big contributor in 2013. A strong 2011, but 2012 maybe a step back. So he's looking to get back on track, no doubt about it. Let's take a look at today's Verizon Fios pitching matchup. Nova going up against a veteran, Sean Hill. He's been with a few organizations, probably best known to Yankees fans as a member of the Toronto Blue Jays organization. He is pitching now for the Tigers. We'll take a quick break. Decidedly cool and blustery here, so grab a dog and a comfortable seat. We've got baseball for you coming up next on Yes.
So there's
Today's game on Yes is brought to you in part by Tri Honda. Hurry to your local Tri Honda dealer for great deals on the 2013 Pilot. By IMG Academy Youth Sports Camps and Private School. Become more at IMG Academy. And by Poland Spring Brand, sourced only from carefully selected natural springs. Born better. It's the Yankees against the Tigers. Tigers with a split squad today. They're staying at home, many of the regulars there. So let's take a look at today's Tigers starting lineup presented by Hyundai. It will be the second baseman Omar Infante leading things off. Torrey Hunter, newly signed to a 2-year deal in the offseason, will be out in right field batting second. Andy Dirks is in center batting third. Don Kelly is the first baseman today for the Tigers. Kevin Russo, former Yankee, at third base. Brian Pena is the catcher. Nick Castellanos is out in left field. Danny Worth is batting 8th. He is the shortstop, and Ramon Cabrera will round things out. He is the DH for the Tigers today.
Well, that lineup for the Tigers, they're going to get a look at Ivan Nova. Will make his first spring training appearance in 2013. And these are the numbers for his career. 29 wins, 14 losses, 273 batting average against. We'll take a look at our pitcher scouting report on Ivan Nova. Let the games begin. A little competition for that 5th spot in the rotation. This is his first look of the spring. And took a step backwards last year. A little sophomore slump. The ERA over 5. He did win 12 ball games, and he's got to limit the damage a little bit better than he did last year. Gave up 28 home runs, and that's a number he's looking to improve on in 2013.
Like a lot of young pitchers, you want him to move Flash beyond that competing for a spot stage to knowing that the consistency is there, and then he can deliver the goods, start in and start out. So here we go. First pitch from Nova to Omar Infante. And it's in for a strike.
You know, Bob, in our open, we saw the numbers for Nova. 2011 spectacular. It comes last year. He wins 12 games, but the ERA inflated. This has to do a better job keeping the ball in the ballpark. It seemed like he was giving up a lot of home runs, costing him some wins. The Yankees still very, very positive about his future.
Little chopper foul along the third base line.
You know, if you're a scout in the stands and you're looking at Nova, I mean, he's got 3+ pitches, a good fastball with some movement on it, a slider, curveball. We'll mix in a changeup, so the whole package is there to be a winner at the big league level. Like you said, just be a little more consistent this year in 2013.
1-2 to Infante, a breaking ball, lifts it out to right center field. And that's the center fielder, Brett Gardner, out number 1. So let's take a look at the Yankees defense. You see Gardner out in center field today. As you look around the entire outfield, Ichiro is out in right. In left field, Matt Diaz. Meantime, around the infield, Kevin Youkilis at third. Jason Nix at short. Robinson Cano at second. And Mark Teixeira is at first. It is Chris Stewart doing the catching of Ivan Nova. Torrey Hunter, the batter, signed a 2-year deal in the offseason. Just really kind of the still talented, an over 300 hitter with the Angels last year, but the odd man out with Mike Trout coming up, Peter Borges needing a spot in the outfield there. Angels didn't really have a spot for him, and he found a 2-year deal with the Tigers.
Well, a nice addition for the Tigers, who really did not make a lot of moves to a ball club that went to the World Series last year.
Out to center field. Gardner tracks it. 2 away. Let's take a look at the game time weather conditions brought to you by Toyota. And as you see the 2 fly balls out to Brett Gardner in center field, you see the skies as well. Partly cloudy, some blue in the sky. Just 58 degrees here in Tampa, 43 back in the Bronx. Decidedly cool and windy. The wind blowing out to right field today. This is Andy Dirks playing center field.
Saw those numbers for Andy Dirks last year. Did a nice job with the Detroit Tigers, batting from the left side. He's in a little bit of a competition for that left field battle. Really the only spot open on this ball club.
Chopper off the mid of Nova. No play for Cano, so Dirks is aboard.
Well, Ivan Nova's going to give up an infield base hit. But the good news for the Yankees, and the reason why he is smiling, throwing a lot of strikes here in the first inning, able to get ahead in the count. Dirks hits it right back up the middle, and you wonder if Robinson Cano, with all his range, would he have been able to get there? Would have been a tough play.
So with Dirks on first, 2 away, here's Don Kelly. Kelly at first base today. And a little grounder on the first pitch to Cano. And that'll do it here in the first. Good first inning by Ivan Nova. We take it to the bottom of the first. First time at the plate for the Yanks coming up. Back in Tampa, all set for the bottom of the first. Let's take a look at today's Yankees starting lineup. And it begins with a man who made 2 outs there in the top half of the first inning. Joe Girardi penciling Brett Gardner into the leadoff spot, playing center field. Ichiro's out at right, batting second. Robinson Cano is at second base. Mark Teixeira playing first, batting cleanup today. Kevin Youkilis is at third base. Travis Hafner is today's DH. Matt Diaz out in left field. Jason Nix, the starting shortstop today, and Chris Stewart batting ninth and doing the catching.
Well, that lineup for the New York Yankees going to get a look at the right-hander Sean Hill, number 66, in camp with the Detroit Tigers. We'll take a look at his numbers last year with Vegas AAA. 9-2, the ERA 4.5, not bad for the Pacific Coast League. Our pitcher scouting report on Hill: he is a well-traveled righty. He's pitched for the Nationals, the Padres, the Blue Jays, and now gets a shot here with the Detroit Tigers, battling a bunch of forearm and elbow issues during his whole career, and he's got a nice combination: fastball, changeup, not an overpowering fastball, upper 80s, but an outstanding changeup.
And Brett Gardner leading things off. Gardner with a nice spring so far. He's hit safely in each of his 5 games this spring, going 6 for 11. And Hill starting things off with a strike. Evens account at 1-1. What are your thoughts on Gardner this year? Hopefully getting a full season out of him, healthy. How does he change the dynamic for the Yankees?
Well, you know, we talked all the time in these spring games about the lack of power for the Yankees this year. That makes Brett Gardner a very, very important player. A good changeup right there from Hill. If he can stay healthy, play some center field, you don't know if he's going to end up leading off with Derek Jeter coming back from the injury. But if he can get on base and wreck some havoc, steal some bags, score some runs, you won't miss the home runs as much.
Hill missing away, evens account at 2-2.
Brett missing all that time last year with the injuries to the elbow. And really coming into camp in great shape, and like you said, swinging a hot bat early on.
2-2 delivery fouled away.
This is what I was talking about with Hill. He's throwing all fastballs and changeups to Brett Gardner. And the fastball does not light up the radar gun about 87 miles an hour, but when you have the thought of that changeup in the back of your head, it makes it look a little bit quicker.
And Gardner starting things off with a base hit to left field. Let's take a look at the Tigers defense behind Sean Hill today. Saw the base hit to left field. That's Nick Castellanos out in left. Andy Dirks is in center. Torrey Hunter's in right. Around the infield, Russo, Worth, Infante, and Kelly. Behind the plate, Brian Pena. And Sean Hill, 31-year-old veteran, doing the pitching. Gardner aboard. Let's see what he's got in store for us on the base paths as Ichiro steps in and looks at strike one.
You know, Bob, for years we've watched Brett Gardner at the big league level, and he hasn't been able to break in at the top of the lineup and be that everyday leadoff hitter. As you see the numbers for Ichiro last year. Games with the Yankees. But you start thinking when you see Gardner and Ichiro 1-2, could be an exciting top of the lineup if it plays out that way this year. Ichiro not afraid to take pitches, hitting in that number 2 spot in the lineup, giving Brett Gardner a little opportunity maybe to run on the bases, steal a bag.
Well, you take a look at the stolen bases, and for Brett Gardner, I mean, what a valuable weapon to have on the base paths. How do you think he's changed as a base runner and a base stealer?
Well, then the knock on him for a couple of years is he maybe is not as aggressive early in counts, and there he goes.
Pena almost looked like he knew that he had no shot at getting him. It was sort of almost a half-hearted effort throwing down to second base. Maybe a little slow out of the blocks there for him, but Gardner off to the races with a stolen base.
Yeah, it's got to be a perfect combination. Pitcher has to be quick to the plate, good pitch to throw on, and the throw from the catcher has to be right on the bag in order to get Brett Gardner. The Yankees would love to see more of that this year. Aggressive early in counts, trying to steal some bases, get into scoring position.
3-1 count for Ichiro with Gardner on second. And drilled out to center field, and That will be Dirks chasing it down. Gardner tags, and he's on to third. So Gardner on third with a one away.
Well, you talk about the lack of power this year for the Yankees. Going to be missing a couple of big home run hitters. Joe Girardi's going to have the opportunity to manage a little bit more, hit and run, steal some bases. But the situational hitting has to be excellent this year in order to take advantage of situations. And a nice job by Ichiro right there, advancing Gardner to third.
And small sample, Flash, but let's think about what we just saw. If Gardner doesn't steal that base, he's not on second base even right now. Now he's on third with one out. Robinson Cano has a chance to drive him in.
And Joe Girardi admitted last year, hey, my ball club is a home run hitting ball club. We sit back, we wait for the home run. I don't think he has that luxury this year. Going to have to manufacture a little bit more.
There's Robbie Cano.
Guys in the middle of the lineup like Robinson Cano are going to have to come through with those big years again, especially in this situation. Runners on third, less than 2 outs, infield in. The bottom of the first inning. Got to get on the board.
When you look at the numbers for Robinson Cano, his last 4 seasons, the consistency there, the home run power has taken it up just a notch. 33 home runs last year, and always a threat to drive in runs, and a chance to do that here with Gardner on third and one away. And well, no, he won't get the job done. That was a good play by Omar Infante with the infield in to check Gardner at third. Get Cano at first, 2 away.
Well, it's a nice play by Infante going to his right. He's able to pick up the out of Robinson Cano. You wonder with Brett Gardner's speed, if he goes on contact here, obviously with the infield in, not an easy thing to do. You wonder if Infante from his knees could throw out Gardner at home. But the proper base running play with the infield in makes sure it gets past the second baseman, which it does not.
Nice play by Infante, keeps Gardner at third, and now Mark Teixeira. And Tex looks at ball 2.
Well, 2 guys in the middle of the lineup for the Yankees, Cano and Tex, getting a lot of at bats early on in spring training, getting ready for that World Baseball Classic.
Now, 2 days ago, he got to start in that game against the Jays. You worked that game with Ken Singleton, and I know you talked about the fact that Tex changed his offseason a little bit, his approach. Always looking for something to sort of change his April, right? His start out of the gate.
Well, that's exactly right. He's been a guy who has started off slow, hits that ball well, but doesn't have anything to show for it.
Boy, Don Kelly, nice play. 2 good defensive plays by the Tigers there. Helped Sean Hill out, no doubt about it. And we'll take it to the top of the second. Again, good D by Don Kelly to keep Brett Gardner at third, scoreless as we head to the second.
Well, that is Gene Lamont, third base coach for the Tigers, who's acting as a manager today. Tigers a little split squad. Let's take a look at their scouting report brought to you by Tri-Honda. They got hot at the right time last year. Only won 88 games, but took it all the way to the World Series. And they might be a better team this year. Martinez is back as a DH. Torrey Hunter in right field. Really, the question marks left field and their closer. A little competition out in left field and a young kid who's going to attempt to be their closer out of the bullpen.
Tigers also playing back home in Lakeland against the Pittsburgh Pirates today. Scoreless in the top of the second. As Ivan Nova faces Kevin Russo, the former Yankees farmhand. Now again, we're not seeing a lot of their stars today, but you look at their projected lineup flash, and not only do you have Miguel Cabrera and Prince Fielder, but now you've got almost like a new addition because he didn't play all of last year. He had microfracture surgery. Victor Martinez will be the DH.
Well, I mentioned earlier the Tigers really did not do a whole lot this offseason, and the reason why they didn't need to. You're right. Martinez coming back as the DH. Torrey Hunter, the big free agent that signed here. But a lot of those names were in the lineup last year. Cabrera, MVP, Triple Crown winner. They have a stacked lineup and a pretty good rotation as well.
And Ivan Nova striking out Kevin Russo, looking for out number one.
I'll tell you what, for Ivan Nova, the first outing of spring training, he looks locked in. A lot of strikes in the first inning. Gets ahead of Russo and just drops the hammer on him. Perfect spot down and away. But really, Bob, the big question with the Tigers, can that young kid Rondon at the end of the bullpen be their closer? And for years we've seen Valverde out of their bullpen, and although he's struggled at times, kind of a veteran that was a little bit reliable, they have a lot of question marks with their new closer.
Well, speaking of that situation, Brian Pena, the hitter, their games will be decidedly shorter with Valverde not closing games. We know he was like a human rain delay when he'd get on the mound and set up for every pitch.
Another good curveball from Nova, but if you look at the Tigers in their rotation, I mean, they're going to do it with Verlander, Pfister, Sanchez, signed back, Scherzer, and Porcello. And a lot of the names out of the bullpen are familiar. Phil Coke, Benoit, Dotel, Albuquerque. It's just, can the young rookie Rondon at the end of the bullpen be their closer?
Well, you take a look at that rotation, and you know, we've talked a lot about this. Scherzer kind of came into his own last year with that 16-win season, but Doug Pfister always kind of flies under the radar. But he's a guy, even though 10-10, you look at the ERA, that can really be like a 1A type pitcher.
Well, you're exactly right with the flying under the radar. He was hurt a little bit last year. When he came back at the end of the year, that's really when that team started playing their best baseball and into the postseason. And you can make an argument, you know, is Kuroda a perfect number two? You can also have Doug Pfister in that conversation. Does not get a lot of attention, but goes out there and eats up a lot of innings behind Verlander.
1-2 pitch to Pena. And Nova with a fastball, misses low, 2-2. Chopper to short. Nix is there. 2 away.
A lot to like early on from Ivan Nova. A couple of weak fly balls to center field to start off the game. A couple of ground balls and 1 strikeout, but peppering the strike zone. 22 pitches with only 2 outs here in the second. Very efficient.
Nick Castellanos is the hitter, playing left field today.
One of their big prospects, and you can see why. The .320 batting average, 10 home runs, but he's having an unbelievable start to his spring training.
Yeah, looks at strike 2.
He has opened up the manager Jim Leland's eyes. Top 5 prospects. He's right there at the top.
Nova missing away. Do you think it's probably organizational really more than anything, but the fact that they're giving Rondon a chance, Castellanos is opening some eyes that they trust their young guys and they trust what they believe in the knowledge of these players and how good they are.
Well, obviously that's the winning formula now. If you don't have all that money to spend, you want your system to develop some big-time prospects, and this kid is one of them. And really, he got an opportunity early because Andy Dirks was hurt for a little bit. Brennan Bosch, Berry, they're all battling some injuries, and all of a sudden a young kid gets a few more at-bats than maybe you expected, and he's raking right now, hitting for power, hitting over 600 this spring. He's opened up some eyes.
Chopper to short. Nick's on to first, and that will do it. So an impressive top of the second for Ivan Nova as we head to the bottom of the second here on Yes, scoreless in Tampa. Well, the Yankees have launched Yankees Ticket Exchange, the official resale marketplace of the Yankees, and Yankees.com. It's a safe, secure, and convenient way for fans to buy and resell Yankees tickets. For more information, visit Yankees.com/ticket exchange. Kevin Youkilis leading things off here in the bottom half of the second inning. Scoreless game. You know, spring training flash, we always get the different looks at uniforms. I'm curious, you played for the Tigers. What do you think of the gray Tigers cap?
Yeah, the gray hats throw me for a little bit of a loop. All these teams have different hats in spring, right? The Yankees going with the white brim of the cap. Well, good news for the Yankees. Kevin Youkilis back in the lineup again today. Made a return yesterday. Had a couple of at-bats. Was actually thinking with how windy and chilly it is here in Tampa, maybe Joe Girardi would sit Youkilis, not wanting to strain that oblique again, but obviously feeling good in their back-to-back days.
Shot to second base. Infante is there. Easy toss to first. One away.
Good at bat for Youkilis. And yesterday when he was talking to our Meredith Marakovitz, he was saying, I just wanted to see a lot of pitches. You know, get some at bats, see a lot of pitches. He saw 5 pitches in this at bat, hit that ball right on the nose. And some congratulations in the Yankee dugout.
Well, Travis Hafner will be the hitter, DHing today.
Well, one of the first things that players do when they get to the ballpark during spring training is they take a look at the flag and the wind and what direction it is blowing out. And Hafner, obviously big time power from the left side. He doesn't need any help. But if he gets one up in the air today at right field, it's going to go a long way.
Maybe a reason Hill is pitching him away right now. You take a look at what he's accomplished in his career. Drafted back in 1996 by the Rangers. Everybody knows him for his 10 seasons with the Indians. Almost 700 runs batted in, 6 grand slams in the 06 season. That tied Don Mattingly's major league record. And now a nice left-handed option for Joe Girardi. DHing or pinch hitting.
And the only question, can he stay healthy? When he is healthy and on the field, he's a very productive, powerful hitter. And that's going to be the challenge for Joe Girardi and his staff. Give him opportunities to DH against the righties.
Give him some rest against the lefties, hopefully keeping him healthy all year.
Hill was behind 3-0. 2 straight strikes has moved the count full. And a swing and a miss for out number 2.
Well, that's his main weapon against the left-handed hitters is this changeup. He has some really good arm action, and the bottom just falls right out of it. Nice job by Hill. You mentioned he was behind in the count 3-0, worked his way all the way back to 3-2 and made a big pitch with the changeup.
By the way, the gun was not wrong there. 60 miles per hour on that change. So 2 away. Here's Matt Diaz. First pitch swinging out to right, base hit.
A little smile on his face. First pitch, Hacken drives one the other way, and Diaz, a veteran hitter, brought into camp to get some at bats against lefties. See if he could be a left-handed DH on this ball club, or left-handed against left-handed pitching. But here does a nice job against the righty, staying inside and driving it the other way.
And here's Jason Nix. Nix in 74 games last season, 243, 4 homers, 18 runs batted in. Important player for the Yankees, can play around the diamond.
Play the infield, can play the outfield, gave the Yankees very productive at bats when he got his opportunities last year.
Diaz on the move, not waiting on Sean Hill, and no chance for Pena, even though the ball gets away. They had no shot. He was breaking early.
You wonder sometimes right-handed pitchers, do they even look over at first base? Obviously not here when Diaz gets a huge jump. A couple of players yelling to step off. He didn't do it, and Diaz takes advantage.
You got to at least fake a head turn, don't you? Looking over at first. Man. Diaz on second with 2 away. Swing and a miss, 2-1.
You're talking about Jason Nix and what he can bring to the ball club. Obviously on the field, good defender, good at bats, but I think more importantly, just a guy who fits in that clubhouse, knows his role, doesn't ask for playing time, just he knows when he gets an opportunity, he's ready to go. It's everything you look for in a bench guy.
You really learn to appreciate those guys that they'll have a couple different mitts in camp and gloves and just say, where do you want me to play? That's what Nix can do. 3-1 pitch with 2 away. A chopper to third. Russo over to first, and they get him. So Diaz gets to second, but that is it. We head to the top of the third, scoreless here in Tampa. We head to the top of the third here in Tampa. 8-9-1 hitters coming up for the Tigers against Ivan Nova. And let's send it down to Meredith Marakovich, standing by with the GM of the Yankees, Brian Cashman.
Thanks, Bob. Brian, obviously a big story of spring training so far has been the loss of Curtis Granderson and what you guys will do with that outfield position. You originally said you were going to look at your candidates in-house. What have you seen from the guys out there, and which way is this team leaning right now?
We're not leaning any which way. We got a ways to go. We're still trying to evaluate what we have. It was a tough loss to lose Curtis, but thankfully it's only for a month of April. And but in the meantime, it creates an opportunity for a lot of guys. We've got some young kids going to try to step up, and we got Rivera and Diaz battling it out to see what they can do. So we're still in the early stages of the evaluation of what we have.
You mentioned some of the young guys like Melky Mesa in the outfield. What have you seen from some of those guys? Any of those guys open your eyes a little bit?
I mean, Melky Mesa's got a lot of athleticism, and he just pulled himself apparently out of the WBC for the Dominican because I think he just smells an opportunity that he wants to stay competitive. You watched the game yesterday. Mesa hits a home run. Mustelier hits a home run. So, the competition's good and healthy. And so we got some guys who are athletic, talented. We'll just have to wait and see. We have guys physically able to do it, whether their performance can consistently make us feel comfortable enough that they can do it. We'll have to wait and see.
Another battle, another battle is the catcher position. Right now, Cervelli and Chris Stewart trying to battle it out for that starting spot. Joe Girardi mentioned the fact that Cervelli looks better defensively. Is that what you've seen, or what adjustments do you feel as though he's made so far coming into this game?
Yeah, Cervelli's throwing very well. I mean, that's the one thing he's consistently throwing and throwing runners out, and so that's obviously a great sign. So again, it's very early in the stages, but I do know that when we sent him to AAA last year, we sent him with a number of different things he needed to work on because he kind of started slipping defensively. We felt, and that's why we added Chris Stewart. He went to AAA, knocked out some of the kinks, if everybody remembers, he was squatting all the time, kind of like Tony Pena used to when he caught. You're not going to see that anymore. So we had eliminated that from his game that he had added over time. We thought wasn't beneficial. So, he's coming back to the basics and what he was prior to last year, and hopefully it pays dividends. We'll see.
What do you think that says about him, the fact that he went down there? Obviously, you said the first month, 2 months till it all set in. They were difficult, but that he did work, he did go after it to try to get himself back into this position.
As a player that's got major league ability, doesn't want to be sitting at AAA, and so I think it no doubt came as a shock to him when we made an adjustment there, and he went down, made some. Had to go through the difficult mental side of it, and last year was a real tough year because Scranton was a road warrior team all year, But listen, there's a huge difference both in terms of enjoyment, financial, all that stuff from major leagues to AAA, and that's part of his dream. And so, listen, he's hungry to be here, and he looks forward to obviously having a year in New York rather than Scranton.
Mariano Rivera has thrown a couple of bullpens, live BP sessions, a simulated game the other day. Was there ever a concern, or is there still a concern that he's not going to be ready to go opening day, that he's not going to be the same Mariano Rivera?
Never any concern physically. His injury was all the way back in May, so there's a predictable outcome in terms of the resolution of the injury itself. The only question now is, how's a 43-year-old who hasn't thrown a ball competitively since May, how's he get out of the gates? I mean, he'll get back to, full force. Does it take a little longer? That's the unknown because of his age. I don't think historically many teams have ever rehabbed a 43-year-old coming off of a knee reconstruction. So it's a fair question there that no one really has an answer to, but he looks fantastic so far, and physically he's healthy, and that's all. That's the biggest piece of the puzzle.
Derek Jeter, another guy on the men. You mentioned March 10th as maybe a date where he would start doing some DHing or getting back in a game. Is that still the date, or has anything changed as far as his timetable?
No, it's a date that we're shooting around. Whether it's a little earlier, a little later, it remains to be seen. But he's progressing really well. He's healthy. He's just again not going to rust out and doing everything necessary. And he'll have one more follow-up exam in Carolina to get the sign of the cross for game actions, and that's coming shortly. And past that, we'll see him where he belongs soon enough, and he will be ready unless some new injury develops, like a groin or a hamstring, stuff like that happens in spring training. He'll be our everyday shortstop.
It's no secret he's a guy that likes to be on the field all the time. He doesn't like sitting out. How difficult do you think this has been for him this offseason, not being able to prepare the way he typically does, and right now not being able to get into some games?
I think it's been difficult. I mean, here's someone that's used to playing, not used to sitting around, not used to being told wait and give it time to heal, and but he's a pro. He knows exactly what he needs to do, and when he doesn't know what he needs to do, like in a rehab situation, for instance, he's a really smart cat. He's going to be told this is what you have to do, and then it locks in. And he'll do exactly everything necessary and appropriate to get where he needs to be. So he's one guy I don't worry about, and he'll be ready when the bell rings against Boston. And so we look forward to adding him at the appropriate time this spring, but we just have to wait on a little bit longer.
Another guy that there's a little bit of a question mark, although news did come out that he'll be able to play catch now, is Phil Hughes, trying to come back from that back injury. Is there a level of concern there that could be something that lingers, or he won't be ready for the start of the season?
Yeah, it's that's one that has yet to declare itself in a positive way. I mean, we're following the doctor's recommendations so far. He had a week of medication and rest, and then a week full of pool work and physical therapy, running on a treadmill in the pool, and now tomorrow, being Sunday, he's going to throw on flat ground, which will be another test in the process. So far, he has not felt any effects from the episode from pitching fielders practice that occurred that led us to develop the knowledge that he's got a bulging disc there. So hopefully, we're hopeful that this is going to resolve itself in a conservative and positive manner, but it hasn't declared itself fully yet. So we still have to wait for a few more, maybe a 10-day period, 2-week period, until we're starting to feel that comfort level. You know what? This is something that's behind us.
Before I let you go, I know the team has an off day on Monday. However, you're going to be very busy doing something a little adventurous. You want to tell everyone at home what you have planned for Monday?
Yeah, I got an opportunity to jump with the Golden Knights, the U.S. Army, down in Homestead Air Force Base, parachute tandem style with Duke Castiglione from Fox 5, and to raise awareness for the Wounded Warrior Project. WoundedWarriorProject.org is a website people can go to if they want to learn more about the mission statement of their efforts on behalf of the wounded service men and women. And so it's a great opportunity you can't pass up, but certainly nervous about it. But I'll utilize the off day in a good, positive way.
I'd be nervous about that, too. Better you than me for that one. Thank you very much for the time, Brian. We'll send it back to Bob upstairs.
Hi, Meredith. Thank you. Brian always a daredevil. If he's not skydiving, he's rappelling down the side of a building in Stamford. Tigers have pushed one across here in the top half of the third against David Aardsma. Ivan Nova, 2 very solid innings. A fly ball to right field off the bat of Torrey Hunter. And Ichiro gloves it. 1-0 Tigers as we head to the bottom of the third. The 2013 New York Yankees season tickets are on sale now. Benefits include savings off the game day ticket price and postseason benefits. Season ticket plans are available on both full season and partial season basis and start at $90 with a 9-game value plan. To buy your season tickets today, call 212-YANKEES or log on to Yankees.com. Bottom of the third here in Tampa. 1-0 Tigers lead it on a sacrifice fly by Omar Infante. And Sean Hill, his third inning of work, starting things off with Chris Stewart. We go back to Brian Cashman's chat with Meredith Morakovitz and the catching situation for Chris Stewart and Francisco Cervelli. We saw Cervelli yesterday, but very good defensively this spring. Stewart getting the start today. In the meantime, talking about some of the players on the mend, and Mariano Rivera, we have yet to see him in a game. He's itching to pitch, obviously, against competition. And flash his comments, not if you forget the fact that it's Mariano Rivera, it's interesting that he brings up the point. It's a 43-year-old guy coming back from major knee surgery.
Yeah, I found that fascinating because, you know, when I think about Mariano, everybody says he looks the same. Stewart hits a ground ball to short. And Brian brings up a very good point. This is a 43-year-old pitcher who did not throw a baseball pretty much the whole year. Pitched in April and got hurt in May. So maybe a little bit more, not concerned, but you pay attention to how he comes out of the gates. But he sounded very confident about Derek Jeter and his return.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Jeter, he said, doing everything he needs to do to get back after that ankle surgery. And another guy who doesn't like to stay off the field.
Because before listening to Brian Cashman, in my mind, I would have said, you know what, Mariano is no concern, and Derek Jeter would be more of a concern because of that ankle injury and how his range would be in the field. From listening to the general manager of the Yankees, it seems to be reversed.
Brett Gardner, the leadoff hitter, singled in his first at bat and stole a base.
Good for him, too, with the Wounded Warriors. I mean, they're raising awareness for that, and I'll tell you what, that's going the distance, jumping out of an airplane.
No doubt about it. Even tandem jump, which is, listen, that's not on my bucket list. Is that
not
on
at
yours?
All. Not at all. I can't even imagine that first step.
How about just looking out the door? But again, a great charitable endeavor. WoundedWarriorProject.org. Brian mentioned it. And again, a busy Monday for him, and a lot of these players just looking forward to an off day Monday.
Well, a lot of the players and also the coaching staff, and we've been talking all spring about how many players, over 80 players here in camp for the New York Yankees. And what that means is that the coaches are going to be busy too. You have to have players out early getting their work done. You know, we see them when they play the games, and obviously a lot of opportunities for some young kids, but those coaches are working awfully hard, making sure the players get all their work done.
See, that's a great point. In season, they have to worry about 25 guys, 40-man, or expansion rosters late in the season. But right now, we were talking to Robbie Thompson yesterday. They really have to pay attention to 80 guys.
And Robbie Thompson, the third base coach, is in charge of the scheduling and making sure everybody gets their work done.
Brett Gardner, second hit of the game.
Brett Gardner is locked in right now. Obviously, you want to get a hit every time up, but you want to get hot at the end of spring training. He's hot at the beginning, as we see Robbie Thompson talking about scheduling. You making sure your guys like Brett Gardner get their batting practice, their outfield drills done. You want him to be ready for opening day, but you also have minor league players that have to get their work done in order to be ready for their opening days.
And again, you've got to look at more players as we look at Brett Gardner so far this spring. 8 hits and 13 at bats. He already has a stolen base in this game. But as Joe Girardi and Brian Cashman had said, open audition for that outfielder spot with Curtis Granderson down and missing 10 weeks. A lot of guys to take a look at and pay a little more attention to.
Yeah, we talked about the Tigers lineup and how their ball club is pretty much set except for maybe left field. And the Yankees have a lot more question marks this spring than they've had in a long time, and left field being the glaring hole out there with Curtis Granderson getting hurt.
Sean Hill keeping a close eye on Gardner at first.
We heard Brian Cashman talking about Melky Mesa, somebody who's opened up some eyes, hit a home run yesterday, and bowing out of that WBC. It's an interesting decision.
Means he'll get a lot more at bats here in front of the guys that matter with the Yankees, who can make the decisions.
Well, listen, every player wants to represent their country at the WBC if you're asked, but an opportunity to make a big league ball club Melky Mesa sees that opportunity. He's going to stick around and try to impress some more. Well, Brett Gardner, a couple of hits, has seen Sean Hill out on the mound and his move. We'll see if he's going to be running.
Chopper foul by Ichiro.
You know, Bob, I look at this situation here as Robbie Thompson makes a fan happy, flipping the ball into the seats. And, you know, remember when I played for Joe Torre and I kind of was talking to him before one of the games and asked him about, you know, what would your managerial style be if you had to describe it? And he had a great answer. He said, my managerial style depends on the type of ball club I have. And if you look at the Yankees this year, you know, losing some power, Joe Girardi has to change things a little bit, in my opinion. You know, a little more hit and run and stealing bases. A little more managing, you know, can't really sit back like he has the last couple of years. Taking a look at this combination here with Gardner at first and Ichiro at the plate. You figure it shouldn't be a problem. He managed in the National League with the Marlins.
Swing and a miss by Ichiro, 2-2.
Again, that good changeup from Sean Hill. Great arm speed. You see the action moving down and away. Ichiro off balance.
Hill misses away. Count goes full, 3-2.
Well, Brett Gardner did not run at the beginning of this at bat. You'd expect him here with a 3-2 count to be on the move.
And Gardner is on the move. And inside part of the plate, throw down to second. Gardner safe, but Ichiro is out on strikes.
Well, when you're a base stealer and you run on a 3-2 count, it's almost like a hit and run where you got to make sure the pitcher is going home, and you trust your hitter that if it's going to be a strike, he'll put it in play. Ichiro gets caught looking, but Brett Gardner still enough speed to outrun the baseball. Not an outstanding jump, the throw up the line a little bit. Another stolen base for Brett Gardner.
2 hits, 2 stolen bases. And he's on second with 2 outs. And Robinson Cano, the batter. Cano grounded out to second in his first at bat.
Brett Gardner, some of his Yankee teammates are going to say, hey man, save some of those hits, save some of those stolen bases, because you're playing like a man who's locked in right now. You don't want to leave them all in Florida.
It's almost like he's making up for lost time from last year.
I've seen it all too, Bob. You know, you see guys who I'm not saying this is going to happen for Brett, but you see guys who go to spring training and they get 2-3 hits a game, and then all of a sudden the season starts and they get off to a slow start. It's almost like you don't know how to get yourself back going again because you've been locked in.
Robbie Cano delivers a base hit to center field. Gardner will score, and that'll tie the game here at 1.
Speaking of locked in, Robinson Cano is a couple of days down here at his at-bats that I've watched. Everything has been middle the other way. This is vintage Robinson Cano, just staying on a 2-seamer out over the plate, hammering it right back up the middle. Looks like he's ready to go at the WBC.
He'll be reporting to the Dominican team on Monday.
Would not think he would be making that road trip to Fort Myers tomorrow to play the Red Sox.
So this will be it for him in a Yankees uniform for a little while. You can watch him in the WBC, part of the Dominican team. Tony Pena, the manager of that squad.
A little bit of different spring training all the way around. Tony Pena going to manage that team. Robinson Cano had to get his game going early, which he has. And Mark Teixeira, another hard hit ball.
Robinson Cano turned the corner there at second base, and that was it. So he'll hold up first and second, 2 away.
It's amazing how the mindset of these guys going to the WBC is a little bit different at the beginning of camp. You get more at bats, but I think mentally you're also telling yourself, I have to get ready to go. I can't give away at bats and see a bunch of pitches. I got to work on my swing and make sure I'm ready to represent my country.
Well, pitching change. Gene Lamont replacing Sean Hill. We'll take a quick break with the game tied here at 1 in the third. Let's check out the Mazda upcoming schedule for the Yankees. Tomorrow's game here on Yes Flash Night along with Meredith. We'll have that for you. 1:35 start from Fort Myers. Then the off day Monday, followed by a string of games against the Braves, Cards, Marlins, and then sandwiched there. Flash on that Tuesday. We talked about the Dominican team. Well, we mentioned we won't see Robinson Cano in a Yankees uniform, but we will probably see him in that game when the Yankees take on the Dominican Republic WBC team Tuesday.
Breaks up the monotony.
Wednesday, excuse me.
Breaks up the monotony a little bit of spring training. We're used to seeing the same teams in the Grapefruit League.
Ken Singleton and Lou Piniella will have the call of that game. New pitcher for the Tigers, Kenny Falk, the left-hander at Double-A last year.
'68 strikeouts for the left-hander last year.
Kevin Youkilis grounded to second in his first at bat. Well struck. Right to Omar Infante. Youkilis fouling it away, evens counted 2-2.
You know, mentioning Jack Curry, he has chronicled that Kevin Youkilis made a couple of adjustments with his swing, and I was looking forward to getting down here and thinking it was going to be drastic, but watching him, it looks like the same Kevin Youkilis to me. Maybe a little more flex in his legs. Feet kind of close together, but that same unusual grip on the bat, the way he starts.
Chopper to third. Russo has a problem with it. Knocks it into foul territory after he knocks it down, but that's it. Bases loaded for the Yanks with 2 away.
Kevin Youkilis hit the first ball of the ball game hard to second base here. He's out front a little bit, and Russo has a little bit of trouble going to his right. Pretty much a routine play. Maybe a little less leg kick from Kevin Youkilis than we've seen in the past.
A little quicker on the turn there, too, and the bat speed maybe speeds things up for him a little bit.
I'm just laughing because you see he kind of a little disappointed with that approach, beating himself up a little bit. Even in a spring training game, this guy takes every at bat seriously.
Bases loaded now for Travis Hafner. Hafner struck out swinging in his first at bat.
Travis, a guy in the past who's been an everyday DH facing lefties and righties. Coming in here to Yankee camp, going to be more inclined to hit against the right-handers, but an opportunity here left on left.
And this story has been chronicled. They basically said, we're signing you, don't bother bringing your mitt. How about that call? Just don't need to bring any leathers. Bring your batting gloves and a bat. You're good.
Go to the batting cage, get ready. This young lefty Falk in the minor leagues last year. Lefties hit 183 off of him.
He misses away 3-0, in danger of walking in a run.
He's also in danger if Travis Hafner has the green light here. 3-0. Guy with plenty of power. He can pretty much eliminate all the off-speed pitches in his mind right now. He's looking for a fastball and try to do some damage.
Takes a strike, 3-1. Bases loaded. Cano's at third. Teixeira at second. Youkilis on first. And Hafner just missing that one. Fouls it away behind the plate.
Good swing. Pitch was up just a little bit for Travis. Start thinking about Yankee Stadium and that short right field port. See that fastball just a little bit up out of the zone. Pretty good swing. Hafner always been a guy who's used the whole field, will drive the ball to left center. If he gets the bat head out at Yankee Stadium with that short porch, it could be a very productive year.
3-2 pitch with the bases full. And fouls another one away.
Pena's going to go out and have a little talk. Travis Hafner has seen a lot of fastballs, had two pretty good swings at the last two. I wonder if this young lefty in Double-A last year, if he can throw a breaking ball for a strike on a 3-2 count, have a chance to pick up a strikeout.
And here we go again on 3-2 with the runners on the move. And Falk misses away, walks in a run. Yankees have the lead 2-1.
Falk did not miss by much. That ball on the outside corner, and Pena did not do a great job receiving it. Kind of pushed it out of the strike zone, and Hafner picks up a walk and an RBI. This ball does not miss by much. Pena, you see the glove, and it kind of pushes the ball away. Doesn't get the call.
It's a little bit of the art of catching, isn't it? Knowing how to frame those pitches, how to receive it, keep the glove steady.
Well, as a catcher, you always want your left thumb to be pointing up on that pitch, which will bring that ball back to the strike zone instead of pushing it away.
2-1 Yankees lead. Matt Diaz singled in his first at bat, stole a base. Chance to do some damage here with the bases loaded and 2 away in the third.
This is what the coaching staff will pay attention to, the at-bats against left-handed pitchers for Diaz. Competing with Juan Rivera, coming into camp looking for a chance to do some damage against lefties. An opportunity here.
You look at his career against righties and lefties, and decidedly better against left-handed pitchers, a .324 career average. And a swing and a miss there. 2-2.
You see those numbers against left-handers, and usually the lefties will work the change-ups a little bit more to the righties. Tells you that Diaz is a pretty good hitter going the other way. And that's what we saw his first at bat against the righty. Between the hole, between first and second. Really got to think back up the middle against the left-handed pitching.
Strike 3. So Kenny Falk gets the job done there with the bases loaded. Gets Diaz looking. But the Yankees push 2 across. They lead it 2-1 as we head to the 4th. Well, tonight the Nets are in the Windy City for a big-time battle against the Bulls. Coverage on Yes starts at 7:30 with the Verizon Fios pregame. Then Ryan Ruocco and Mike Fratello have the call from Chicago only on Yes. Top of the 4th inning in Tampa. And the new pitcher, Clay Rapata, will face the 3, 4, 5 hitters for the Tigers, Dirks, Kelly, and Russo.
Rapata did a nice job last year, 70 games, left-handed specialist, gets a lefty his first at bat here in Dirks.
(2-1) Yankees lead it. They scored 2 in the bottom of the 3rd. RBI single by Robinson Cano, and then a bases loaded walk to Travis Hafner. Push the go-ahead run across.
Yeah, Bob, I saw something Jim Leland talking about this left field situation and a kind of an open competition with Dirks and a couple of other guys out there. Sometimes his honesty is very refreshing.
To left field and right along the fence there. Diaz gives it a go as it goes into the bullpen.
Well, if a left-hander's bat, it's going to slice a little bit going that way. Diaz a good attempt, but Jim Leland said, listen, we have an open competition in left field, and whoever's going to win the job, Dirks will probably get an opportunity. Take another look at Diaz going over the fence. He said, but our season is not going to be determined by who's playing left field. We're going to win or lose with the big boys in the middle of the lineup. Cabrera, Prince Fielder, got Martinez back. He said, we'll figure it out. We'll maybe have a platoon system out there. The one name that's kind of fallen off here in Detroit is Brennan Bosch. You know, big time prospect a few years ago, came up and made a splash. Good slider from Rapata. He's kind of the odd man out now, fighting for at bats. Brennan Bosch, that is.
Well, a guy who kind of stole that thunder a little bit second half of last season, Avisail Garcia, came up 20, 21 years old and played some pretty impressive outfield and showed a good bat.
And that's what they're looking for. One of the right-handed hitters to kind of make a statement, and you bring his name up. Garcia, Castellanos has made a statement this spring. They're looking for a right-handed guy out there.
There's Don Kelly grounded to second to end the 1st inning.
Well, it's nice when it works out in the spring training game. You bring Rapata in. The first 2 hitters are left-handed.
And Kelly stings that one out to right field and over the head of Ichiro as he chases it to the wall. Kelly is on his way to second, thinking about 3rd, and he'll give it a go. Cano the relay. And the throw right off the foot of Kelly, and he's into 3rd base.
I've seen Don Kelly on this Tiger ball club the last couple of years and does a nice job against Rapata with that fastball in and hammers it to right field. He's actually on a non-roster contract this year, has to fight for a job on this team. When he got to around second base, I said, all right, that should be good enough, but he was aggressive, going all the way for the triple. Sees the play out in front of him, does not need his third base coach, makes the decision on his own, and the throw from Robinson Cano hits him in the foot.
So Kelly now at third with one away, and Kevin Russo the batter. And Rapata starts him with a strike. Russo out to left field. And Diaz to the front part of the warning track, fighting the sun out there, but Kelly will easily tag and score, and the Tigers have tied it at 2.
Well, Don Kelly made that at bat a lot easier for Kevin Russo. Just look for something to get up in the air. That pitch was a fastball inside. It works underneath a little bit. Diaz having trouble with the sun. Always an issue during spring training games. Able to make the play.
2 away in a 2-2 ball game. Brian Pena is the batter, grounded to short. And to short again. Nick's long throw, and a good stretch by Tex to get him. Tigers score 1 on the sac fly by Russo. We're even at 2 in Tampa. Hey, Yankees fans, individual game tickets for the 2013 season at Yankee Stadium are on sale as part of a pre-on sale exclusively for MasterCard holders from now through Sunday, March 3rd at 10 p.m. To use your MasterCard to purchase tickets, visit Yankees.com/priceless or call Ticketmaster at 877-469-9849. Bottom of the 4th inning in Tampa with the score tied at 2. 3 hits for the Tigers, 5 for the Yankees. It'll be the 8-9-1 hitters, Nick Stewart and Gardner. Against Kyle Lobstein at Double-A last year, 27 starts, an ERA of about 4, 2-to-1 strikeout to walk ratio. Tigers have traveled with 10 pitchers here today. Again, a split squad. A lot of the mainstays, Fielder, Cabrera, Martinez, staying in Lakeland for a game against the Pirates. Justin Verlander pitched yesterday for the Tigers. Another great outing, 3 perfect innings. And here's Nix, who grounded to third in his first at bat. Nix to short. Worth the throw, and he's safe. So Nix aboard to lead things off here, bottom of the fourth.
Jason Nix rolling over a few balls in the at-bats I've seen him this spring training. Worth makes a nice play to get to it, but doesn't have quite enough on the throw across the diamond.
Kind of a backup there to Kevin Russo in a way. Thought Russo might have that ball diving from third base. Didn't happen, so Nix is on. And here's Chris Stewart, who grounded to short back in the second. Or third inning.
At this point in spring training, you're Kevin Long, the hitting instructor. You're watching all of your guys and their at-bats and their approaches. Brett Gardner is locked in. Ichiro has looked pretty good. Robinson Cano right where he needs to be. And then you watch somebody like Nix and you see a couple of ground balls kind of rolled over and still getting his timing down, trying to find his swing. Long way to go this spring.
Well, let's talk a little about Stewart again in that catching competition. What should they realistically expect offensively from Chris Stewart?
Well, the Yankees know what they have in Chris Stewart, and that he's an excellent receiver, works the staff, throws really well. And he swung the bat great last year. I think Kevin Long, the hitting instructor, helped him. And you're probably not going to get a lot of power, although he hits this ball well to left field.
Drills it out to left field and quickly gone. Jumps it out of the joint. A two-run shot by Chris Stewart makes it 4-2 Yankees.
Rounding the bases say, take that, Flaherty. I'll show you how a little more pop. One home run last year. Got some big hits to drive in some runs, but showing a little power here. Wind blowing from left to right. Did not get any help by the elements there. He's got to feel awfully good early on in spring training. And you know what? He's in a competition for playing time with Cervelli, who's been swinging well and throwing well. And Chris Stewart answers a little bit with a home run of his own.
That got out of here in a hurry, and you hear that sound, no doubt about it, when it left the bat. Four to 2 Yankees. Here's Brett Gardner. Gardner's had a very good afternoon. 2 singles, 2 stolen bases, and a run scored.
In mid-season form, aren't I? My scouting reports on talent, not a lot of power, and Chris Stewart said, take that.
See, but that's great. It's like reverse psychology, isn't it?
That has got to feel awfully good early in spring training, be able to drive a ball like that.
And Gardner looks at strike 3.
I'm thinking back with Chris Stewart here and Cervelli having this competition behind the plate as you see a perfect fastball in the outside corner. And when you come into camp and you're fighting for a job, and I've been in that situation plenty of times, you do pay attention to what the other guys are doing. You know, they swinging the bat well. Cervelli's been swinging well and throwing well, and Chris Stewart has a good swing of his own today.
Ichiro's hit a fly ball to center field and struck out looking.
Just watching that take right there from Ichiro, seemed like he was a little bit out in front, off balance.
Lifts that one out to left center field and right into the mitt of Castellanos, 2 away.
And that's kind of what we saw from Ichiro when he came over from the Mariners. And then all of a sudden, his balance got a little bit better. That glide towards the pitcher was a little smoother, and the numbers really improved here early in camp. A couple of swings today he's taken a little bit more off balance than what we saw last year.
When you see him falling off the ball, that's not a good sign.
Right.
When he's falling or going right back towards the pitcher, that's the key.
Yeah, describe it almost as a glide for Ichiro back towards the pitcher. Today been a little bit off balance.
Well, Ichiro's 0 for 3. Robinson Cano is 1 for 2. Single and an RBI in the third. Final tune-up for him before the WBC.
Then you watch Robinson Cano take that 1-0 slider away, and he didn't even budge, did not even flinch. Tells you he's seeing the ball well.
To Robinson Cano. Right back to the mound. Lobstein has it. And that will do it. But the Yankees get 2 runs on the board. A single by Jason Nix. And then Chris Stewart drops the hammer. 2-run shot makes it 4-2 Yankees as we head to the 5th. Top of the 5th inning in Tampa. Yankees lead at 4-2 over the Tigers on the Audi scoreboard. We welcome in the manager of the Yankees, Joe Girardi. Joe, a good afternoon and a nice little power source there in Chris Stewart giving you that 4-2 lead.
Yeah, you know, sometimes when you say a guy hasn't missed a free throw in a while, you say some things, good things happen. Flash.
Hey, I admit it. I gave the scouting report not a lot of power, and Chris Stewart said, I'll show you. But I want to get to the guy that he was working with early in this ballgame. Ivan Nova, his first appearance of the spring, looked awfully sharp to me.
You know, he did. I thought the most positive thing for me was the command of his fastball, and it was downhill, what we talk about throwing downhill. It had a great downhill plane to it, and he located it, and he was throwing 93, 94. Very, very pleased.
One away. Here's Danny Wirth. By the way, you've got to be pleased with the way Brett Gardner has come out of the gates. I mentioned a flash like he's making up for lost time from last season.
Well, he's got a lot of hits he saved up, so let's use them. Not all of them in spring training, though. We don't want to use too many there. We'll use them in the season.
Good quick pace of game. You've got that off day Monday.
Here we go. You had it, James.
Well, yesterday was Flash doing that. Today it's me, the chopper back to the mound, 2 away. Hey, would you be offended if I said that we'd like to talk to your buddy and a big Yankees fan, Richard Gere?
Yeah, we have a special guest for him. I'm going to hand the mic set to him, and you guys, I'll let him take over.
Okay, sounds good. Richard Gere has previously made an appearance on Yes with Center Stage and Michael Kay. A full hour. Richard, Bob Lorenz, and John Flaherty, how are you?
Hey, Bob. Flash, how you doing,
Hi,
man?
Richard. How are you?
I'm good.
It would be easy to ask you how you prep for a role as an actor, but I want to know how you prep for throwing out the first pitch today.
Well,
you delivered a nice high fastball.
I didn't know I was going to do this, and I got bad shoulders. I'm old. So, actually, I didn't have any chance, but I was loosening up a little bit, you know, like an old arthritic old fool. But I actually got it over the plate. They said, whatever you do, don't bounce it.
Well, we're looking at the replay now, Richard, and I actually had a first pitch last year in AAA for a game, and I bounced it and got booed.
You can't do that.
So you have bragging rights, Richard.
The first time I did it, I think I threw it over the catcher's head. I was so pumped with adrenaline.
How many spring trainings have you been to? You're a big Yankees fan. We see you down here a lot.
You know, my son had just turned 13. He's sitting next to me. Say hello, Homer. I think he's on camera. And Daniel's right next to him. Yep. Daniel, come over here. Yeah, is he on camera?
We've got the 3-shot there. Yes.
Okay,
sir.
so we started coming down. I think this is the 5th year we've come down, isn't it? 5 years. It's been great every time. I mean, the Yankees are fabulous, and I'm a Yankees fan since I was before their age. So this is, I hate to say it, but it's really emotional being at these games.
It's great. Now, does Homer love the game as much as you? Does he play?
Yeah, these guys are both players. He's a very good pitcher, shortstop, second base, and right field. Daniel's also a pitcher, plays second base. They both play shortstop a little bit, and no, they got real futures.
Hot shot to short. Nix has got it. Richard, thanks for being with us. That was a quick inning. Good to have you.
That was fun, guys. Thanks.
All
Bye.
Right. Enjoy the afternoon. We're going to the bottom of the 5th. Yankees on top, 4-2. Four to 2, Yankees lead it here. Bottom of the 5th on the Audi scoreboard. Kyle Lobstein's second inning of work for the Tigers, starting things off here against Mark Teixeira.
It was good for Mark here. He had a couple of at-bats from the left side. Hit the ball hard twice. 1 for 2 with a single. Now the right side. Tougher for the switch hitters in spring training to work on both sides of the plate. Get enough at-bats from both sides of the plate.
Mark looks at ball 2, 2-2.
Bob, I have to admit, Richard Gere called me Flash.
Yeah.
That was pretty nice.
You're a big fan of his work. He's a big fan of your work. Reportedly.
That was nice.
Longtime Yankees fan. And how about him talking about the emotion, strikeout there by Mark Sheriff, being at the ball game with his son. When we opened the show, we saw Dad and his son playing catch. There is that tie, that bond, and certainly you see it, I think, with Yankees fans a lot more than some other teams.
See everybody excited to see Richard Gere down by the dugout, Lee Mazzilli. But I mean, this is the best time of the year if you're a Yankee fan to come down to spring training. The players are relaxed, coaching staff pretty relaxed. Let's hope the weather warms up for him a little bit.
Well, it's been cool the past couple days. Again, supposed to be that way tomorrow when we head to Fort Myers for a 1:30 game here on Yes against the Red Sox, and then supposed to warm up again next week here in Tampa. Dan Johnson is the hitter. Kevin Youkilis got a couple at bats, and Johnson strikes out for out number 2.
Well, Lobstein has it working here. Fastball right on the outside corner. A couple of strikeouts here at the bottom of the 5th.
And he'll face Travis Hafner, who has struck out, walked. That walk, by the way, in the 3rd inning allowed a second run to score and give the Yankees the lead. Or, excuse me, tie the game up. Lobstein a strike, quickly ahead, 0-2 against Hafner.
Not just throwing strikes, throwing it right on the corner, down and away. Hafner not real happy with that call. Quickly behind in the count, 0-2.
And strike 3, so a second strikeout on the afternoon for Hafner, and a good inning of work as Lobstein strikes out the side. We take it to the top of the 6th with the Yankees on top of the Tigers 4-2.
Hi, welcome to
Tomorrow afternoon, the Yankees get their first look at this year's Red Sox squad when they travel to Fenway South and Fort Myers to battle their AL East rivals. Complete coverage on Yes starts at 1:30. That's 1:30 tomorrow afternoon, when Bob and I follow all the action only on Yes. 1:30 start tomorrow, Bob.
Give us 30 extra minutes on Sunday. Enjoy a nice brunch, perhaps.
A little more prep time for the broadcast.
You know, I tweeted a picture of you prepping yesterday. You know that, right?
I saw that.
Master of pregame prep. 4-2 Yankees lead at top of the 6th. New pitcher is Mark Montgomery for the Yankees.
My preparation tells me that this kid has got a great slider. Coming through the Yankees farm system quickly ahead in the count, 0-2. There's some pitches when they come out of his hand that really open your eyes, and the slider is one of them. It is a big-time pitch, a big-time strikeout pitch. That's what you're looking for out of the bullpen.
Another one of the young pitchers who works quickly and efficiently. Full count to Omar Infante.
Oh, you want to show Joe Girardi and Larry Rothschild, the pitching coach, you can come out of the bullpen and throw that slider for a strike, or have the ability to throw it off the plate for a strikeout, a swing and a miss.
Unfortunately misses there with a fastball and a leadoff walk. Some defensive changes. Flores out in left, Adonis Garcia in center, Austin out in right. Around the infield, Dan Johnson at third, Gil Velasquez at short, Joseph at second, Merton is now at first base. Kyle Higashioka behind the plate. Feel free to jump in on any of these changes or names, Flash.
No, you got it. You're doing a great job.
Here's Torrey Hunter 0 for 2 on the afternoon. Fly balls to center and right field.
See if Montgomery can get back on track here. Jumped out ahead on Infante 0-2 and ended up walking on 4 straight balls. Now behind on Torrey Hunter. Good pitch, good call by Chris Stewart, going to the off-speed pitch, gets a swing and a miss. Torrey Hunter, always an aggressive hitter early in the count. Montgomery and Stewart do not give in with the fastball. They go off-speed, get a swing and a miss.
Hot shot through the hole and left. 2 men aboard here. Let's go downstairs. Meredith Barakovich standing by with Ivan Nova. Meredith.
Thanks, Bob. Ivan, first time out, first time you got some game action in for the spring. How'd you feel out there on the mound?
I feel really good. I mean, a long time that I don't get the chance to pitch in again, and you know, it was an awesome day today.
How much were you looking forward to getting back out here this year? I know last year maybe didn't end the way you would have liked it to, but were you anxious to get back out there on the mound?
Yeah. I mean, I forget what happened last year. I was focused, on the start of this year, and finally got, like I said, got the chance to pitch and again, and I'm happy to be back.
Heard you talking in the clubhouse about being aggressive, attacking hitters. How much is that a part of your game plan going into this season?
Pretty much that's my main thing right now. I just got to throw strike, attack the hitter, and like I say, let my team do the rest.
Have you made any other adjustments as far as your pitching is concerned?
No, I mean, all we want to do is throw strike. That's what we're working on. Throw strike, being aggressive. Physically, I'm really good. I feel really good. Mentally, I'm really good. Besides that, I got the struggle that I had last year. But like I said, all we want is throw strike, attack the hit, and get good results.
Yvonne, thanks for the time.
Thank you.
Send it back up to you guys in the booth.
Meredith, thank you. 2 aboard here for the Tigers. Torrey Hunter with that base hit to set up the first and second situation against Montgomery. He was replaced by a pinch runner, Steve Moya. Base hit to center there by Andy Dirks. As Omar Infante is waved around, he will score, make it a 4-3 ball game.
Dirks was impressive last year in Detroit. Left-handed hitter sprays the ball around the field. Montgomery having a tough start here to the 6th inning, and it's a fastball that just misses location. It's right down Broadway. That's what Dirks is looking for, and he hammers it right back up the middle.
And Brandon Loy will take over for him pinch running.
Listening to Ivan Nova, you can tell he's pretty excited about what happened today with his 2 innings of work. And Joe Girardi liked it, the fastball down, and a lot of pitchers, hitters go through a tough time the second year in the big leagues. You don't sneak up on people. The scouts have seen you. Advance reports are out there. Now the question is, how will he rebound this year? And I'll tell you what, it looked awfully impressive this afternoon.
Well, that scouting leads to changes that other teams make. Then it's up to Nova now to make the changes, the necessary changes, maybe add a pitch or refine a pitch.
It's all about adjustments. If you get caught into pitch patterns, anything like that, they're going to find it out eventually. And the second year is a lot tougher sometimes than the first year because there's so much more information and video out there.
Don Kelly is the batter, tripled and scored in the fourth. Kelly, chopper over to first. He'll get the out at second, and quick turn to check the runner at third.
Well, we were talking about Ivan Nova, and we just heard him talk about his outing. And let's take a look at some of the highlights earlier in this ball game. He threw a couple of innings and looked awfully impressive. Fastball had some velocity. Always has that big curveball for the strikeout. Had a couple of ground balls today, which is always a good sign with his sinking fastball. All in all, a nice afternoon for Ivan Nova. Another fastball down and another ground ball. Routine play for Jason Nix.
The delivery, the motion looked very smooth.
Yeah. We talked yesterday. Sometimes pitchers come out here in spring training early on and you don't have that good velocity on the fastball. Nova had it all today. 94 with movement. All speed looked good. Good outing to build on the rest of the way during spring training.
Runners at first and third, one out. Here's Kevin Russo. Russo's 0 for 2. A strikeout and a sac fly.
Remember Russo with his time with the Yankees, always had good at-bats during the spring. Simple swing, simple approach. There it is, that slider from Montgomery. It is a plus pitch. If he can learn to get ahead in the count, use his fastball to set up the slider, he'll be very effective. And the resume for Russo, 20th round pick, 7th season in the minor leagues, round pick of the New York Yankees, and made his debut May 8th, 2010.
That was in a game against the Red Sox. Can't hold up his swing there, and that's out number 2.
You're going to see a lot of funky swings against Mark Montgomery when he has this slider going and he can get ahead in the count. Look from the side, completely fooled on the off-speed pitch.
First and third, 2 away. And Brian Pena was grounded to short twice. Completely fooled there on that swing.
Well, we've seen a little bit of everything from Montgomery in this inning. Gets ahead of the first batter, ends up walking him, then a couple of base hits. But now you're starting to see that slider come into play, and it's the pitch that have the Yankees so excited that he can come into some tough spots and pick up some strikeouts.
Good block there by Stewart. Or Higayoshi, excuse me.
It still looks like Chris Stewart behind the plate.
It is Stewart.
Nothing new for him. I mean, he's just a machine at blocking balls in the dirt with a runner at third. Looks like he's in midseason form already.
Runners on the move. Stewart the throw down right on the money, and they got him. Don Kelly trying to get to second, but Stewart guns him out to end things here in the top half of the 6th. Tigers do score a run to make it 4-3, but Stewart right on the money to end the inning. Let's take a look at tomorrow's probable starting pitchers when the Yankees travel to Fort Myers to take on the Red Sox. Adam Warren at AAA last year, 7-8, ERA under 4. Going up against Ryan Dempster. Our coverage beginning at 1:30. The Flash and I, along with Meredith Barakovitz, who joins us once again. Meredith?
Thanks, Bob. I'm with Robbie Cano. Robbie, obviously gearing up for the World Baseball Classic. How much are you looking forward to that?
Well, I mean, it's going to be exciting. You know, you're going to get to spend some time with guys that is another team like Reyes, Encarnacion, and Cruz. I mean, it's going to be fun, you know, being in the same clubhouse with them.
What does it mean to you to be able to play for that Dominican team?
It's mean a lot. I mean, time to see you growing up, time to give you a lot, time to see you, you know, I mean, get better every single year, and now they get a chance to go there and represent it. You know, it's really mean a lot to me.
Now, you knew coming into this season that you'd have to be ready faster than a typical season, so did you do anything different in preparing this offseason?
Well, no, I mean, the good thing that I always start on December 5th. And then what I do is always trying to get ready before I get here, so that way I don't have to rush to get ready and anything. And but the good thing is that I prepare home and I feel great.
Looking past the WBC and focusing on this New York Yankees team, how much more pressure do you feel this year, knowing that Alex Rodriguez is going to be in the lineup, Curtis Granderson out for the start of the season? How much more pressure do you feel to produce offensively?
Well, I don't want to see a pressure, because this is the thing that every year you got to produce, because it's all about winning here. And then, you know what, the good thing is we got some guys, and like Hafner, you got Diaz, and guys that got power, that they can step it up and do their job. And it's not really about one guy. It's about the whole team, and we're looking forward for the season.
Now, I know you said yesterday something you don't really want to address. You don't want to talk about the contract situation, but how do you block that out of your head? How do you make that not a distraction for you?
Well, I mean, I just focus on playing every day. You know, it's always have fun. I mean, it's always fun to be here with the guys, you know, be able to wake up every morning that, you know, you're still here with the Yankees. And you know, what I do is just have one more year left, and I just go out there and prepare myself and get ready for the season to help the team to win another championship.
What are you most looking forward to here in 2013?
Well, we won another championship.
Well, we'll see. Time will tell whether or not that comes true. Thanks for joining us, Robbie.
Thank you.
Send it back to you guys upstairs.
All right, Meredith, thank you. Ramon Flores is on second base. A single and a passed ball or wild pitch, and that is Gil Velasquez lining out to second for out number 1. Whether he wants it to be or not, that's going to be an ongoing story all season for Robinson Cano. Flash, the free agency year coming up. There was news a couple days ago, but he quickly just said, let's get the focus back on baseball.
Well, you know, every player wants to get off to a good start to their own personal season, and obviously Robinson has put himself in a position coming up this year. If he can get off to a good start, I don't think it becomes a distraction. I think if he gets off to a slow start, then you start thinking about it maybe a little bit more than you should. Then it can be a distraction, but you expect Robinson Cano to be just fine.
Now this is Kyle Higashioka in for Chris Stewart. And looks at a strike.
Look at Ryan Dempster tomorrow, huh? With the Boston Red Sox, one of the new additions. Interested to see that club in Fort Myers. On Shane Victorino, kind of a different ball club now.
Mike Napoli.
A lot of good news coming out of Fort Myers. They're, you know, talking about their chemistry. Everybody seems to be upbeat, getting along. See if they can compete in the AL East.
Expected to have John Lackey back in the starting rotation. Higashioka, base hit, left field. Hit so well that Flores held up. He'll get to third. First and third here with one away.
Not an easy ball for Flores to read off of second base. A good swing, nice hard line drive to left field. Another look from the side, get that front foot down, and obviously a low ball hitter. Flores at second base kind of freezes on a line drive, makes sure it falls in front of the left fielder. Nice base running right there, and then you cruise into third base.
And with one away, here is Adonis Garcia. He took over in center for Brett Gardner, who had a terrific afternoon. A couple singles, couple stolen bases, and a run scored.
Bobby, you're talking about John Lackey in that rotation, be healthy again for the Red Sox. They really need John Lester to be the old John Lester, you know, be that #1 guy in the rotation that they can depend on to win ball games.
Off-speed pitch fouled away. And the competition in the division is certainly ramped up, with the Orioles playing better baseball last year, garnering a playoff spot. The Blue Jays wholesale changes. And the Rays are always a force. Joe Maddon finds a way to keep them in it no matter what.
I think you can look at every team in the American League East and you'll have question marks about what they can do this year in the division. Obviously, the Yankees getting a little bit older, some injury problems, some guys coming back. The Blue Jays, all those expectations with all the moves. Can they play well with the pressure of, you would think they would have to win now mentality? And I've counted out the Tampa Bay Rays for years.
Right.
And it seems like every year they're right in the hunt. Joe Maddon does a great job down there. But they're going to miss big game James Shields. Moved on to the Kansas City Royals.
And Higashioka on the move, fouled away. I think the Blue Jays are a classic case of you don't win games on paper, you don't win them in the spring or the offseason. A lot of great talent there in that trade with the Marlins, some of the signings that they made. But still, you've got to, again, you talked about chemistry with the Red Sox. You've got to find the right chemistry. You've got to find the right players to be successful. Then you got to deliver the goods.
You know, if you look at Baltimore last year, there were no expectations, and they went out there and had a very productive year, made it to the postseason, and took the Yankees to Game 5 in the division series. But the point being, there were no expectations, and the Yankees every year have those expectations. You're expected to win. They know how to deal with it. We'll find out if the Blue Jays are able to do the same thing, because it's a lot different when nobody expects you to win than it is when you bring in all these players and there's a lot of hype. We saw it with the Miami Marlins last year. It didn't work out.
And a walk to Garcia loads the bases with one away. That'll bring up the right fielder Tyler Austin. Austin took over for Ichiro in right.
Another one of the Yankees' top prospects, Tyler Austin. The numbers last year: 110 games, 80 RBIs, 322 batting average.
Flores is at third. Higashioka at second and Garcia at first. Bases loaded, one away. And Michael Morrison misses away, 1-0. Morrison missing again, 2-0. James McCann is the catcher, taking over for Pena. And Morrison misses again, 3-0.
We'll see if Morrison can come all the way back. Himself in a little bit of trouble here in the 6th inning. Tyler Austin, you got yourself in a good fastball count here, 3-1 with the bases loaded. Talk all the time about trying to open some of the eyes of the coaching staff. Should get a good pitch to hit right here.
And ball 4. So for the second time this afternoon, the Tigers have forced a run across. 5-3 Yankees. Try and settle Morrison down. Bases loaded here, 1 away, and he'll face Corbin Joseph. Took over at second base for Robinson Cano.
Corbin Joseph, another player that the Yankee organization really liked, gives you a productive at bat. Gene Michael talked about him the other day. Says he doesn't scare. It seems like he's just one of those kids when you watch him hit, got a great idea of the strike zone. Seen him play a little third base here in spring training, but a natural second baseman.
Bases full of Yankees here in the bottom of the 6th. They lead at 5-3. Joseph hit double and triple A last year. 15 homers, 62 runs batted in.
What you like about that is second baseman with a little bit of pop, 15 home runs.
Chopper to the right side. Love, they'll make the flip to first, but another run will score. 6-3 Yankees.
See Corbin Joseph a little disappointed with himself. Had a pretty good pitch to hit, rolled it over. Picks up the RBI, but wanted to do a little bit more damage. His comfortable stance, a little bit open with that right leg. Gets a ball to hit right down the middle and just rolls right over.
And with 2 away and runners at second and third, Luke Merton is the batter at first base now in place of Mark Teixeira. And that ball getting away from the catcher McCann, and Adonis Garcia will score easily as the other runner advances to third. 7-3 Yankees.
Well, you have a young pitcher. Michael Morrison pitched at Double-A last year, and things are getting away from him a little bit. When you watch this slider and how badly it misses, no chance for the catcher McCann. Just tries to knock it down, then has a tough time finding out where the baseball is. A wild pitch. Another run scores.
Morrison fires in a fastball, 1-1.
Well, when a pitcher misses that badly, you see the numbers for Merton last year, 25 home runs, Double-A Trenton. When a pitcher misses that bad with a slider, you are hesitant behind the plate as a catcher to call it again. We'll see if McCann calls it again. The fastball.
Morrison hitting 97 there. And in for strike 2.
Well, you would think if you were going to see that slider again, it would be on this count here, 2-2 with a runner at third, 2 outs. Well, they're going to go back to the fastball.
And they get him there. It takes a little off of that, 91 miles per hour, but that will do it here in the bottom half of the 6th inning. Yankees score 3 and now lead it 7-3 as we head to the 7th. I want to see a catcher, I want to see it's a Tiger, and I want to see a home run hitter. I'm talking about John Flaherty. Look at you, unleashing the fury.
You notice the direction of those home runs, Bob? Get the head out and pull the baseball, and you might have a chance. My first Major League home run, that first one off of Pat Henkin.
Was it really?
Yeah.
Nice, brand name. We talked about this yesterday. Who was your first Major League hit against? Do you remember that?
Charles Nagy.
New pitcher is Matt Daly for the Yankees as we head to the top half of the 7th inning. 7-3, Yankees lead it. Missed the 2012 season with a shoulder injury. Spent 2011 with the Rockies. 7-3 Yankees on the Tri-State Ford scoreboard. Getting 3 in the bottom half of the 6th. And Daly with a strike.
Daly, another guy the Yankees taking a look at, has pitched a couple of years in the big leagues with the Rockies, coming back from some shoulder issues.
Fouled off the mask of Higashioka. James McCann, the new catcher for the Tigers, leading things off here in the top of the 7th. Behind in the count, 1-2. And Daly pulls the string on that one for a strikeout. Take us back to the archives, and here's that hit you were talking about.
Wow, those guys in the truck really going way back for this one. 1992. Carlos Baerga.
Like a big crowd that day.
Did you hear what our producer Bill
Yes.
Boland just said? It looked like a lucky hop. There was nothing lucky about that. Get the bat head out, pull the baseball, and see what happens.
Deep cuts on the video, taking you back to your first Major League hit. Hey, Bill, do we have his 7 no-hitters he threw as a little leaguer?
8 no-hitters.
8? Oh, sorry.
10-0 with 8 no-hitters.
I shorted you one. That's impressive stuff. Danry Vasquez is the hitter.
Well, as we're watching a lot of these young kids play at the back end of these spring training games, they're hoping for that opportunity. Nice play by a Yankee fan. They're hoping for the opportunity to get to the big leagues and try to get that first Major League hit. And you know what I remember about that was third base coach Gary Allenson was my Double-A manager, and he knew I was nervous. You know, he could tell, and he said, listen, first pitch, swing as hard as you can.
And that was first pitch swinging there?
No, it was actually like the 3rd or 4th pitch, but the first pitch, right when Charles Nagy lifted his right arm, I was ready to swing, and I fouled it off my left shin. Was the first pitch I saw in a big league game, and then got ahead in the count, got another sinker, and was able to put it in play. Now our producer Bill Boland's trying to retract, so it was a clean hit. Good pitch by Daly. Did a nice job getting ahead in the count. Had a strikeout earlier on a slider. This was a fastball just dotted on the inside corner. A little movement back.
And with 2 away, here's Eugenio Suarez.
Bob, the problem with that first hit in the big leagues, I think I had like 4 more hits the rest of the year. Ended up hitting like $180. Back to the minor leagues the next year. I got called up opening day 1992 Red Sox Yankees. That was actually the last cut in spring training. Drove all the way home to New York to watch my younger brother Keith play a high school baseball game, and I was going to go to Pawtucket, Rhode Island, AAA the next morning. And I got a phone call. John Marzano's arm was hurt, and they needed me at Yankee Stadium.
Nice.
Had a great night's sleep the night before and was ready to go the next day in the big leagues.
Suarez lifting one high into the sky in center field. And Adonis Garcia has it, and that will do it here in the top of the 7th. But we will not break away. You'll stay with us here on Yes as we honor America with the singing of God Bless America.
to preserve our freedom. Please direct your attention to the Yankees dugout and welcome Master Sergeant James Irwin of the United States Air Force, recently returned from his 4th deployment to Iraq. He is joined by his father, Henry Irwin, retired Army. They will stand with the Yankees during the singing of God Bless America. Let's have a warm round of applause for Master Sergeant James Irwin and his father, Henry, and for all of our brave men and women for their sacrifices for our country. And now, ladies and gentlemen, please remain standing and remove your caps and join in Kate Smith's rendition of God Bless America.
America's freshest lineup.
Back in Tampa, bottom of the 7th inning. Yankees lead at 7-3 on the Tri-State Ford scoreboard. Trevor Bell is the new pitcher for the Tigers. And he's facing Dan Johnson. Taking over at third base for Kevin Youkilis this afternoon.
Bell, a guy who had some arm trouble last year, has actually had some big league time with the Los Angeles Angels. 2009, 10, and 11. Gets an opportunity here in a new organization, trying to open some eyes in spring training. Jim Leland and his staff.
And a breaking ball across, 2-2. Johnson lacing one to center field. fighting the sun, but Russo makes the catch, one away. This is Francisco Arcia, pinch hitting. A little pop, left side. The shortstop is Suarez, out number 2. You know, I actually didn't give you your just due in getting that first hit. Your major league debut, something special happened as well. You want to talk about that?
Oh, I forgot about that. Yeah, actually, that was the first game of a doubleheader, I believe, against the Cleveland Indians back when they had Kenny Lofton and Baerga. We saw it. Actually caught Matt Young in the first game, and he threw a no-hitter and lost.
Oh.
Which is incredibly hard to do. But with that team, Kenny Lofton led off the game, walked him on 4 pitches, stole second, stole third. Ground ball, 1-0.
Yeah.
Next time up, same thing. Stole second, stole third, sacrifice fly, 2 runs, and that was the difference. So the good news, base hit in your major league debut, first at bat. Bad news, I think there were 5 stolen bases that afternoon. 4 of them by Kenny Lofton. Now I'm going to defend myself a little bit here too. Matt Young, he was a left-handed pitcher, but he would not throw over to first base. He kind of had that fear of throwing to first base. And he had tremendous stuff. He threw hard, had a good slider, but did not have a pickoff move. And Kenny Lofton took advantage of that to the fullest and had a nice day in the bases.
That's probably for Lofton, too, a pretty easy thing to figure out. If he sees he's not thrown over there at all and has that fear.
Yeah, Matt had a reputation. He didn't like bunts being bunted back to him because he didn't know where he was going to throw the ball. And it's amazing. You put him on a mound and deliver the pitch to home plate. He had no problem. But to step off and throw to first or field a bunt, it was a different story.
Flores to first. Westlake has it. And that will do it in the bottom of the 7th. The Yankees on top 7-3 over the Tigers here in Tampa. We're back in the top half of the 8th inning. Yankees lead the Tigers 7-3. A few moments ago, Meredith Barakovitz had a chance to catch up with today's starter, Chris Stewart, behind the plate. Nice work behind the plate and at the plate as well with a 2-run homer.
Thanks, Bob. I'm with Chris Stewart. Chris, obviously our first look at Ivan Nova. What did you see from him from behind the plate?
Pounding the strike zone. That was the goal going in. Try to get his fastball command going. Challenge hitters. Throw it in the strike zone. Try to get him to hit it, and he did that. Mixed in his good curveballs and then threw a good changeup too. So everything was working well. That's what we like to see. Second half of last season, he really seemed to struggle. Did you notice a difference in the way he was throwing today as opposed to, I know it's still early in the spring, but as opposed to the end of last year? Absolutely. Just the confidence issue. It's a little rough, finding his arm slot last year. So, having that to deal with that, it's kind of tough not knowing what you're going to do, where your ball's going to go and whatnot. But corrected that this spring. He saw some good bullpens. He's found it and went out there today and showed us what he can do. If he could be that guy that he was in the beginning of last year, that seemed like he just couldn't lose, how much does that help this rotation and how much does that give you guys depth as a whole? Oh, it's huge. Our rotation is pretty strong, so to have him at the back end of it, if he can do what he did today, it's going to be a good year. For you personally, known as a defensive catcher, but you got a little bit going on the offensive end. How rewarding is it for you to get some offense going? Oh, it's nice. Especially I came in this year, I changed a couple things to try to help my back come through the zone a little better, and so far so good. It's been working out well. It's been feeling good, and I was just trying to put a good swing on that last one. Put the ball in play with 2 strikes, and I put a pretty good swing on it. What were the adjustments you made, and was it Kevin Long coming to you and saying, hey, we should do this, or was it you taking it up personally, hey, I need to change something? No, I mean, a little bit both. At the end of last year, I kind of realized I was doing some things that, were kind of negative towards me hitting, and, I corrected them myself, worked on it. Came in, Don Wakamatsu noticed I was kind of leaning over and kind of got me upright, and then Kalo, chipped in a couple things, and the results are pretty good right now. Chris, thanks for the time. Thank you.
Send it back upstairs to you guys.
Meredith, thank you. Francisco Rondon is the new Yankees pitcher facing Ramon Cabrera here in the 8th.
A little insight right there with Chris Stewart working on his swing. You see the numbers for Rondon from last year. Actually pitched at 3 different levels in the minor leagues. A ball all the way up to AAA last year.
Strike 3 by Rondon. Nice pitch there to get Cabrera for the first out.
Well, he's left-handed and he's got a big-time arm. And he throws a little bit above average velocity-wise from the left side. Good breaking ball, and that's the way that you will go from A ball all the way to AAA on the Yankees 40-man roster. Getting a look here in spring training.
Hernan Perez took over at second base for Omar Infante.
Well, just listening to Chris Stewart, Bob, every spring you come in and you try to work on your swing a little bit, make some adjustments. Good for him. He gets some positive results early on. Gain a little confidence in what the changes that you're making.
About the approach too of wanting to make some changes for Chris Stewart. You don't want to, no player wants to hear that, oh, well, you know what, you're a good catcher, but you can't really hit. You're not really going to contribute much offensively. You kind of want to change that mindset a little bit. Fly ball center field. Adonis Garcia tracks it 2 away.
Well, I heard plenty of that. At the beginning of my career, I was known as all defense, couldn't hit. I mentioned I hit 180 my rookie year and actually figured out hitting a little bit when I was 27 years old. And you know what? Every year it's adjustments. It's trying to get better. And Chris Stewart has proved himself in the big leagues with the work he does behind the plate. Looking to get a little more offense in his game this year.
Steve Moya is out in right field at AA last year for the Tigers. Rondon starts him with a breaking ball and misses 1-0. Good fastball in for a strike.
Well, good fastball, and he's been dotting it on both corners, in and out right there on the lefty. Get a look at the slider here. Again, you want the major league coaching staff to see you throw the ball over the plate, all of your pitches breaking ball. There's a need at the big league level at some point during the season. You want the coaches to remember your name and what you did in spring training.
Slider again, misses away. 2-2.
Always pay attention to these at-bats a little bit more. Left on left with the lefty coming out of the bullpen. 4 pitches into it, they've all been quality. Tried to get the strikeout with the slider just off the plate. Going to go back to it again. Joe Girardi sitting with Charlie Wands.
Moya hanging in there.
However this at bat works out for Rondon, I've been impressed so far. He threw a fastball in on a lefty. You don't see a lot of young left-handers feeling very comfortable to do that. His slider's been good.
And comes back with that slider and gets him. So a nice pitch and a nice inning of work there for Francisco Rondon. A 1-2-3-8. We'll take it to the bottom of the 8th with the Yankees leading at 7-3.
All I can
Bottom of the 8th here at George M. Steinbrenner Field. Yankees lead at 7-3. This is the second pitch from Trevor Bell to Gil Velasquez. And Velasquez, who took over at shortstop, coming up with a base hit to lead things off here in the bottom of the 8th. Well, of course, these two teams, the Yankees and Tigers, different versions, obviously, in personnel, met last year in the ALCS. And this was the outcome as the Tigers outslugged the Yankees. 4-game sweep, outscoring them 19-6. It was an absolute power outage and hitting outage for the Yankees. They all forgot to hit at once, basically, and it spelled their doom in 4 games.
Well, you see that 157 batting average, and a lot of things happened in that series where Joe Girardi changed the lineup, benching Alex Rodriguez. Not a good time for the bats to go silent.
Here's Kyle Higashioka.
You'd expect the Tigers to be right there again this year. You know, last year it took them a while to really play their best baseball towards the end of the season. Made it into the playoffs, got hot at the right time, and made it to the World Series. And with the American League Central, with Kansas City's improved, Terry Francona in Cleveland, you'd expect Detroit to be right there at the top again this year.
windy, cool day here in Tampa. The sun is out. Higashioka holds up 2-1. And again, you see the breeze really howling out to right field right now. Ball 3.
Get it up in the air to right field, and it's going to go a long way.
Chopper into the Tigers dugout. Count goes full. Velasquez on the move. Higashioka to center field. And Russo's got it. 1 away. Well, we talked about that 4-game sweep against the Tigers. Here was Mark Teixeira's take on that.
Yeah, unfortunately, it happens all the time. Just ask the Tigers. They did the same thing in the World Series. That's baseball. And so we don't think about it anymore. It was, a bad series, and we lost the series, and now we're moving on.
So again, the offensive drought happened at the wrong time. Again, it did happen to the Tigers in the World Series. But you got to have a short memory, don't you? Adonis Garcia out to right, getting it up into that jet stream, but front of the track, 2 away.
You can see the ball carrying to right field. We'll take a look back at some of the numbers in some of those series. The difference, the Detroit in the World Series, they had a long layoff, so obviously not seeing live pitching and the 159 batting average because of it.
Yeah, almost a mirror image of what the Yanks did against them in the ALCS. 2 away here in the 8th. Tyler Austin is the batter. And a swing and a miss. I'm going to throw a little something at you here, Flash.
What do you got?
Not all the time, Tyler Austin, but watch when just before the pitch is delivered, his face. Who do you think he looks like? New York sports figure.
Drawing a blank.
No, hang on. Right there. Right there. Nothing? Bill Bolin got it. Eli Manning. What do you think?
A Jet fan. I'm looking at his odds.
I didn't ask for your loyalties. I just, yeah. Hot shot out to left field. And that's going to get to the track and almost to the track. Velasquez rounding, and he will score. So Tyler Austin delivering a touchdown.
See what you did there.
8-3 Yanks.
Well, we've seen Tyler Austin and his numbers in the minor leagues, a 320 batting average with some power and can drive in some runs. And he does a nice job sitting back on that slider with 2 strikes and hammering it to the left center field gap.
Looked like it had the depth to get to the wall. Didn't, but still got the job done as Velasquez scores. And Austin has an RBI. Corbin Joseph, the batter, here with 2 away. And Corbin Joseph laces a base hit to center field. That will score Austin and make it a 9-3 ball game.
Again, look at some of the prospects here at the end of this ball game. Swing the bat. Both of these kids, Austin and Corbin Joseph, reputation with some good offensive numbers in the minor leagues. Got himself ahead in the count and took advantage of a fastball right back up the middle and up a little bit.
And that will do it for Trevor Bell, with the Yankees leading at 9-3. Still batting in the 8th. We'll step aside. Well, this copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the New York Yankees and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. In the accounts and descriptions of this game, it may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the New York Yankees. We continue on in the bottom half of the 8th inning. Yankees have scored a couple. And a pitching change for the Tigers. It's Jose Ortega.
Spent most of the year in AAA Toledo. Actually had 10 days in the big leagues.
Facing Luke Merton. Corbin Joseph advancing to second. RBI singles by Tyler Austin and Corbin Joseph. Made it a 9-3 game. Merton, a little chopper. And a swipe by the catcher McCann, but it's foul ball. Merton fouling that one away, 1-2. Nine-3 Yankees as they look for their second win of the spring. Good start by Ivan Nova. 2 effective innings. The offense has been piling on the past few innings. 5 runs in the last 3 innings. Luke Merton sneaks one through the right side. That will score Joseph. And as the ball is cut off, they're going to get Merton at second, but not before the run scores. making a 10-3 Yankees lead. So final out made at second, but the Yankees lead it, taking it to the top of the ninth. Top of the ninth in Tampa. Yankees lead it 10-3. Jim Miller will try to close things out. Spent last season with the Oakland A's. 33 games, 44 strikeouts, 27 walks. Held opponents to a .217 batting average. We'll try to wrap up what's been a very good day for the Yankees. 10 runs on 12 hits. And a clean game. 4 errors yesterday, caused some problems in that game and a loss to the Phillies, but not today. Good defense, some nice offense to go with it.
Yeah, we talked to Joe Girardi yesterday, and he said, you know what, it's about time to start cleaning it up a little bit, play a little better defensively. He's seen that this afternoon, and has to be very happy with Ivan Nova and his work. Brett Gardner had a good day. Chris Stewart.
Brandon Lloyd leading things off here on the top of the ninth. First pitch swinging and a base hit.
Well, you see a lot of this when you have a hitter who's got both ear flaps on his helmet. That tells you he's over from minor league camp, and he's got one thing on his mind when he steps up to the plate. He is not going to look at any pitches. He's going to be ready to hit. Be able to get a ride back on that bus to Lakeland. Call your family tonight, tell them you got a base hit in a big league spring training game.
And Aaron Westlake with his first at bat of the game. Grounder to second. Nice play there, nifty. They get the out at second, but on the transfer, Velasquez drops the ball.
Jim Miller, 2 pitches, 2 swings, both balls hit hard. Looked like it should have been a pretty routine 4-6-3 double play. A nice play going to his right. Corbin Joseph the flip. Velasquez can't come up with a handle. At least they get the out at second. It's a dead giveaway, Bob. When you see both ear flaps on that helmet, it's a minor league kid. They are swinging the bat.
Here's Kevin Russo, moved from third base to center field. Lifts one out to right field. Tyler Austin, 2 away. There's James McCann. And Miller starts him with a pitch outside, 1-0. Grounder to third, fair, and throw way off the mark, and the runners will advance, or at least the runner on second base moves to third. That's Aaron Westlake, and James McCann is aboard on the E5.
See what happens here, Bob. We talk about the nice clean game, then all of a sudden Dan Johnson at third base, tough time with the throw across the diamond. Used to seeing Johnson play a little first, showing a little versatility playing third.
So the Tigers still alive here with 2 away in the top of the 9th. Danry Vasquez is the hitter. Fastball misses in. Driven out to right field, but hooking foul. Another guy with double ear flap slash.
Swing it. He's going to swing it. He didn't come over from minor league camp and take a bus ride from Lakeland, Florida here to Tampa to look at pitches. He's going to be up there hacking.
First and third, 2 away. And back up the middle, but Velasquez right there to flip to second and get the final out. So a win for the Yankees today. 10-3 is the final. 3-run innings in the 6th and 8th. Clay Rapata ends up as the winner. Lobstein takes the loss. Again, 13 hits for the Yankees. 10 runs and an error. Tigers, 3 runs, 6 hits. Ivan Nova, 2 solid innings, gave up just a hit. And Chris Stewart, big home run, 1 for 2 and a 2-run homer, put the Yankees in the lead for good. So that will do it from here at George M. Steinbrenner Field. Today's game produced by Bill Boland, coordinating director John Moore, our senior vice president of operations Ed Delaney, our supervising producer is Woody Fryman, and the executive producer is Mr. John J. Filippelli. Join us again Sunday for Yankees baseball as the Bombers take on the Red Sox at JetBlue Park in Fort Myers, Florida. Coverage begins at 1:30 on the YES Network. Once again, the final score, Yankees 10, Tigers 3. For John Flaherty and Meredith Barakovitz, I'm Bob Lorenz.